Well, good afternoon, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Steve Collins coming to you, yes, with the top down in the middle of December from beautiful San Antonio, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, purposeful coach and speaker in the world. Hope you guys are excited for a little lunchtime version. Let me be the dessert for whatever you had today. Dealing with difficult people. This is a phenomenal subject, and I'm actually going to go real deep. I'm going to pull some stuff out of my personal stash today, you see, because I do my best to coach and inspire and motivate people to behavioral changes, because my goal is that you would see things differently from a different angle that would empower you to have a self-discovery moment that causes you to break out of old habits and patterns that are not serving you well, and to begin the conversation with yourself about starting something new that can begin to transform you from the inside out, which will ultimately transform your life. But what you don't realize is most of what I give y'all is kind of rated G. I give y'all the rated G stuff. I got some personal stash for the way I think that is a whole nother level, because I've been doing this for so long, and today I'm going to bring y'all to a whole nother level. I'm going to bring some special stuff out of the vault for you today. Dealing with difficult people. The most primary conversation you can have with yourself to handle dealing with difficult people, and by difficult, let's just go deep. Disrespectful, dishonorable, uncool, really mean, really ugly stuff coming out of their mouth, bad attitudes coming at you type people. I'm not just talking about people that are challenging to communicate with. I'm talking about people who will stir you up in your flesh, and you have an immediate reaction of wanting to put an elbow in their forehead maybe. I know you've never felt that way. Some people do, all right? There are several different ways to handle it, and I'm giving you the old school from the vault of deep Collins thought here that I haven't gotten approval from anybody in my inner circles to express, and I'm just going to bring it to you. I tell myself they have a mental illness. I tell myself they have a mental illness, or they have a debilitating and possibly terminal physical condition. Well, why would you do that, Steve? That's kind of crazy town. Let me tell you why. Could you get into a fight with somebody dying of cancer? Would you get into a fight with a mentally challenged person who is inequipped to even be in a conversational level of logic with you? Would you go after or go hard against or become offended by a person dying of cancer or a person severely mentally disabled? Would you even allow your emotions to go there? No, you would not. Why would you not? Because you would have compassion and you would have an understanding that would allow you to say very quickly within yourself, let's say with a sick person, dying, terminal, cut them some slack, man. Cut them some slack. Their time is short. They're in a bad way. If it was a severely mentally disabled person, instantly you would say, cut them some slack, man. They really don't know what they're saying. They don't know what they're doing. It's not even a level playing field. You can't take this personally. Do you understand what I'm saying here? The story you tell yourself allows you to show up differently. You hear me regularly speaking until everybody gets it about the difference between living your life as a thermometer, which will rise and fall on your emotions based on what's going on around you. A thermometer reacts to the environment. I talk to you about becoming a thermostat type person, a person who sets the emotional tone for your life and therefore your environment around you, that now is what we would call the baseline for how you are going to show up for other people and for yourself. When you have a baseline of maturity, a baseline of stability, a baseline of an underlying type of joy that allows you to have a calm delight in any situation in anticipation that the situation will turn around and turn into something beautiful sooner or later, and it will, then you can show up with a thermostat mindset. So the story you can tell yourself can range big time, but compassion and understanding and cutting people a break happen when you are around a person who is terminally ill, dying of a sickness, or a person who is severely mentally challenged. You take no offense because you have compassion and understanding on them. What if you were to tell yourself that story that quickly with somebody you were encountering that was extremely difficult? Let me give you an example. I'm going to give you a script. This here's $1 million script right here, and I shared it with a huge event of the top realtors in San Antonio on a panel I sat on last year that I developed one day when I chose to start adopting this way of handling difficult people, and this was probably 5 years ago. When I'm dealing with a realtor who gets crazy in a negotiation or a transaction, which the team handles now, I would simply stop and say this. Now, Mary, here's the thing real quick. It sounds to me like there's more going on in your life right now than just this real estate transaction and these issues. So when I have a phone call with other realtors in a transaction, I like to pretend that your client, my client, the Texas Real Estate Commission attorney, are all on a conference call listening in on each call that I make. And I want to be proud of the calls I make as a professional. So would it be better if we talked later? That's my conversation with them. Let me tell you, I'm great friends with a lady today who began weeping when I said that, and she was mad, ornery, I mean bad, y'all. Started weeping, and I was quiet for a while, and she said, you have no idea what's been going on. I've been dealing with the most difficult clients in my life. We had a closing this morning, and I wasn't going to be able to make it because of a play my daughter was in that was today versus the next day. I didn't know what was happening. They said, if you don't show up for this closing, we're not going to close, and you're going to be out everything. We don't care, because they had had a difficult season. In the middle of that, she's so frustrated with tears, backed out of her driveway, ran over her cat that she had had for like 15 years. And the people were screaming at her, they don't care. They don't care, they don't care. She said, I had to put my cat in a plastic bag and put it in the garage and get in the car. And then you called me with another difficult transaction. You nailed it, Steve. There's a lot more going on in my life right now than just this transaction. And I had the opportunity to actually pray with her, and now we're friends. Dealing with difficult people. You never know what somebody's going through. You never know what they're experiencing. And for someone to show up in life in such a way to bring you dishonor and disrespect, there's got to be something going on with them that ain't good. Does that make sense? There's got to be something going on that's not healthy. There's got to be a story that you don't know about it. And if you did know the story, you would have mercy and grace. When you're having a bad day, don't you want people to have mercy and grace for you? Of course you do, because you're human. Dealing with difficult people? There's my stuff out of the vault. Y'all ain't telling you to do it, but it's how I do it. Someone gets crazy, I pretend and think to myself, they're dying of a terminal illness. Or, guess what else? They are mentally challenged. And I don't mean that to be funny. They are in a severe mental incapacitated state right now. And so I can't even engage in this conversation. I'm not going to get emotionally involved with this. I'm going to separate myself from this, and I'm going to look at them through those lenses. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how you do it. That's how I do it, because I don't know about you. If the joy of the Lord is my strength, then I ain't going to give nobody the power to take my strength. And I hope you choose to do the same. Have a great day, guys.